Alright guys, Bryce here with Discover Power Sports. Today, or actually this evening, we're going to be talking about lighting. We have several, we have a bunch of lighting on our X3s, and even on our prairies, we've replaced the lighting with something else, because if anybody knows anything about Kawasaki Prairie stock lighting, that it is terrible right off the get-go. So we started out with the X3s in 2020. That's when we first got our X3s. Before that, we had, some cheap Amazon light bars and stuff. And that was on my 2016 OG Maverick Turbo with the 131 horsepower Turbo R. And then Steven had I think it was a 2018 Kawasaki Teryx, something like that. It's right around there. But the cheaper Amazon lighting or whatever was fine for those applications because it wasn't so crazy fast or anything. But we got our X3s and we started going on bigger rides at faster speeds. And so what we discovered pretty quickly on our first trip, we got them in the spring of 2020, and then we went to Utah that summer. And we found ourselves at Little Sahara, Utah, as the sun was going down, and we did not have near enough lighting. I'm pretty sure I had the DIODE Dynamics, the 2 Pro SS3s, up in my bumper, but I had driving beams only, so it was really for a long, straight throw with just a little bit of spread. Not quite a spot, but pretty close. But it was not enough, and the factory X3 headlights, while they are LED, they are terrible, and they do not have enough light. So after that trip, we found out, dude, we need more lighting. There's no way. I don't think I had my DIODE Dynamics yet. I have to look back at pictures, but I'll find out. Either way, so we go another year. Some other trips, mostly during the day. We go the next summer to Lake Powell, Utah, Arizona border, right there. And we got there, and first night we go out on a ride. And while we had upgraded our lighting to where we could see further, we skipped peripheral. So going up through those mountain passes and curves and all sorts of stuff, the peripheral lighting was not there. So trying to look down on each side of it, as you're trying to traverse a trail or a cliff or whatever, we could not see. So we found out did not have enough peripheral lighting. So you'll see on the setup on my X3, that's why I have the Pro SS3 DIODE Dynamics in the bumper, and then I have 4 Sport DIODE Dynamics in the up on the pillars, 2 on each side. The ones on the pillars are what they call a combo beam. They have some driving optics, and they have some flood optics in there as well, so you have a good, almost 180 degree spread. We got some storms coming in, so we got to get this done before the front. Alright, as promised, we're right here. Get some lights set up. So I kind of told you the story a little bit. It's a little bit of kind of how we got into buying the battery lights that are like right here. But we still have a fair share of cheap on Amazon lights. Keep some on the prairies and stuff, something where you're not going to run off lights so much.
Yeah, and like I said, this one was $750. I'm not gonna. Those are actually the lights that were mounted up here when it had no front end. So they just put them suckers down there just to put them to use. But These are just some junky off brands that don't even have a name on them. I can't even see it, but you know, they're all about the same. Just cheap Chinese floodlight is what these ones are.
Oh, those are, it says Nightlight on the side.
Yeah, okay, so they are Nightlights then. Yeah, so that's a more common Amazon brand. I've had a few things Nightlight, but beat the living crap out of them, but they're just not very bright. Had to put silicone around them, obviously not watertight like they're supposed to be, so I've had to take them apart a couple times to put silicone in them, but
but look at the light. Like, there's next to no light. I mean, it's a flood, but
I mean, that's 20 yards maybe?
Yeah, maybe. You know, for a prairie, it's not bad. Your top speed's 40 or whatever it may be. But definitely not something you want to put on a X3.
No, not at all. I mean, when you start, it's all relative. You know, this machine is $750, and these cheap lights. That machine, and you know, Razors and KRXs and everything else, you're paying a premium. I mean, everything is $20,000+ now. So by the time it's all said and done, I mean, you really got to pick the things you want to spend money on, and especially something this powerful to not outrun the light. You really need something bright, and you need something long lasting with a good warranty and things like that. So that's why we've got DIODE Dynamics is what we've really rounded up and spent a lot of money on these units between mine and his. So I stand by them though. They've been great. Definitely pay a premium up front, but as soon as you see them, the payoff is worth it compared to these little rinky-dink lights. So we got a few of them rigged up here just to kind of just show examples of different brands. That's a Nightlight brand. This is an Iowa brand, not to be confused, I think, with the old stereo type. But it's actually also just again, this is a cookie cutter floodlight, almost the exact same build as the light.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's a little bit better because it's more of a, it's got more spot beams in the middle and flood pattern on the outside. So this one goes a little bit further, and obviously a little bit higher. You get a little bit more wash and more pro from it. But again, that's probably what, 40 yards?
Yeah, probably.
40,
I mean,
40, 50 yards.
I can't tell if it's coming through on video, but there's a pole, a big power pole over there. It's probably, we say 100 yards from here, 120 yards.
Yep.
I mean, it's lighting it up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, and like again, the wash from side to side, how fast you're going in one of these machines, and how quickly you can come up on something, especially the dune guys when everything starts to blend, you know, and the sand and the dust and everything like that running a wash. So things pull up pretty dang quick. So obviously, again, for a little rinky-dink four-wheeler or an entry-level rig, man, there's no harm in learning, and you'll understand. Some of these lights are great, but at some point you've got to go and not compromise. Like guys don't compromise on sound systems, and you don't compromise on safety items, and you know, the guys with the suspension and the radius rods and the shock therapy stuff.
Right.
You learn to work to spend your money to fit your niche and your riding style.
Yeah.
So we
Like
definitely needed some lights.
If you need some surround light or some backup lighting, those are good.
Yeah.
Like even on the back of my X3, I've got, I don't even know what brand they are, Oxbeam or whatever.
Those ones I think are Oxbeam actually. So
we'll show those here in a minute.
Yeah, and those ones we kind of got more for a different function. So this is really double the capacity. Obviously, this light side by side, and this is a Nightlight brand, and this is more of a make a little bit of spot. So obviously, going to be a lot brighter. So really, in reality, it's a wider beam.
Yeah.
That other light is just as bright, just a wider beam. So you get more wash and more flood side to side to see what you're running up on beside you. You know, if you're getting close to a side of a dune or close to a drop off or a creek or something off the side of the road. Like this road's super narrow up here and it's a pretty decent drop. So again, for a four-wheeler and for what it is, it's plenty.
Yeah, and like in comparison, here's some halogen bulbs on a prairie. I mean,
Yeah, and
that's not much.
yeah, I mean that's like, you know,
I think the marker lights on my
X3 are brighter than that.
Yeah,
probably.
freaking the first Model T had more lumens and candle power, I guess. You know, lantern and gas had more lights, more power than these. So, again, those are old school incandescent bulbs. Now on this prairie, I do have some cheaper LED swaps because the bulbs were toast, so a little bit more light.
Yeah, they actually do help. Let me shut these off.
Light. These things.
Let me shut these off so you can see.
Now these ones are obviously a little bit more cloudy with a little bit more age on them, but those LEDs get down. That's the bright setting, and then there's the low beam. So a lot brighter than those guys, and these were just some, again, cheap Amazon specials, and for this thing, they fit the bill. The only thing I've done to this one, like I said, is that one light. It's got, you get that one bar light. So this is a 7-inch bar light here, and kind of right in between the bumper on top of the winch to get a little bit more lighting, a little bit more throw.
Yeah, it just helps.
Just helps just a tiny bit for this thing, because obviously it's got these two candle power freaking headlights on them. But again, you're not getting much light, and a comparable light bar, you know, if I felt like spending the money on this particular machine, it would be night and day on how bright the DIODE DYNAMICS version of this light bar is. And they actually make light bars in all different sizes, and they make them down to this actual footprint too. So you're not just limited to the pods we're going to talk about. I mean, they make bar lights. All the off-roading guys with trucks, I mean, they have conversion complete LED kits that you can buy for your vehicle and swap everything, interior, exterior, to high quality, extremely bright LEDs. And some of it they stress to you that is not even road legal. It's for off-road use only because of how bright it is, and it's not past DOT requirements because of how bright it is. So really cool, the vast amount of products that they make compared to this entry-level stuff. Again, it's great. It's great to learn. You're not incurring a ton of cost up front, especially when you're just gung-ho and happy to have any type of ride. That's why I have them on this. I do appreciate them for what they are, and again, it's all relative to what this unit costs versus what one of these Monster X3s costs, and the speed and the type of riding we're doing. So impressed with what they are.
Yeah, and maybe people don't know that on these Kawasaki's, I had an 08 Brute Force. This is an 08 Prairie. I don't know if I can get it to go into gear. There. So when it goes into reverse gear, it's actually pre-wired, so you can put a light on. So when you shift, again,
The funny thing is, this is a K-Well light, and this is actually a little bit more expensive Amazon light. But as you can see, this sucker's seen better days. You got backed into another unit, I think, or a tree or something at one point. And this is actually hard glass, and I mean, it's been like that for a year now. Yeah, but with just those two little guys, I mean, it gets down. It's as bright as one of those LED pods. Yeah. And this is kind of at a tapered angle, so it's more at the ground to see what the heck was happening behind me. We do some tight trail riding around here in North Texas, so I wanted to have a little bit more light. But yeah, they're pre-wired, and they have a trigger wire. If you're running something high power back here, you probably should run a relay. I did not run a relay. This is just straight wired to the trigger. So I suggest you run a relay if you're running anything with power. But super handy. Big believer in backup lights.
Just make sure it's counting. Alright, technical difficulties with the camera. It locked up for some reason. Alright, back to the backup lights. So, let me turn all this extra junk off. So, backup lights. They are, what brand are these things?
I believe they're Oxbeam.
Oxbeam something, you know, a cheaper Amazon brand. Yeah. You can kind of see they've got decent throw. I mean, they definitely work as a backup light. But that's not really what we use them for. I don't use them for backing up, really. Here it is. So, you can flip the switch. Changes to amber. Flip it again. It'll actually run both in there. Here you go. Flip it again, strobe white. Flip it again, strobe yellow, which is actually what I run because it's a little easier on the eyes of people around you, behind you, but it's enough that it's going to get somebody's attention. And then the last setting is it'll strobe back and forth white and amber. we don't use or need chase lights enough to spend the crazy money on expensive ones. So we got these, and I've run these for hours, and they still work good. So
yeah, I mean those are the same pair off of my 2020 XTS that I had on here. So super inexpensive. So like I said, guys working construction, guys running the dunes, there's you go.
Yeah.
You got a few options. So like I said, we don't get crazy with the bars, the full chase lights or anything like that, because we just don't do that style riding enough to justify spending the money.
right, I mean you'll be $1,000 in chase lights in no time. I mean,
Yeah.
the Can-Am factory ones that they sell are expensive.
Yeah,
Rigids are expensive,
Yeah, they're
which are super nice.
they're nice, yeah.
The Rigids are sweet. They've got a dome light and all sorts of stuff with them, and they have a brake light feature, which is cool. But really, this is more than enough. You've probably seen in some of the other videos, in the intro, you'll see them flashing. Steven has the same setup.
Yeah, we
so.
run these in the washes, we run these in the dunes. Again, just show folks where you're at when you're running next to each other or close to each other. You can see what the heck is going on. So it's a versatile light and it fits our need. I'm actually going to swap mine likely to the SS2s, and I'm going to utilize the pulse function on that sucker to make it a chase light strobe light. So that's another cool thing about that aux beam panel that we sell on the website. So give that a look. It's not just an on-off switch. You can program those switches functionality to momentary, to pulsing, to on-off. So pretty cool. You can turn any light into a chase light or to a strobe light. So definitely digging that on these things.
All right, so here's the business end. So I don't remember who found these, DIODE Dynamics, me or Steven, whatever. I got the first set. I think you had a bunch of cheap ones at the time, and I mean these things were like pretty insanely different. These are the SS3 Pros, so they are the middle level. They're Sport, Pro, and Max. Steven has several sets of Maxes and a Pros. I have the Pros up here in the bumper, and then up here up top I've got Sports. So these Pros, they're a driving beam, so they are pretty, I mean once you get out there far enough you're going to be able to see pretty well, but they are almost a spot. Not quite, but almost. They don't have a whole lot of peripheral lighting, which became a problem. So I'll flip these on so you can kind of see. You can probably wash out the camera pretty good, but so those light poles out there, hopefully they come on camera. They're probably 150 yards between each other. There's another one back there, probably 20-30 yards behind us. That one's out there pretty far, and I can see 3 poles just from these lights. So that kind of just shows how insanely bright they are. They throw light super far. But even these were not enough. We went out to Lake Powell, and we were kind of on a trail in a wash and going up and down. It was a little bit technical, but as you'd come up over something, you couldn't see down to either side. So that's when we changed it up and got our, I'll flip that back on, there you go.
So as you can see, just your seating position in X3, everybody knows it's low slung, hopper car type, you're down in there. So having them in that bumper, we just figured out it just wasn't enough peripheral light and up high enough to get us enough kind of field of vision for when you're turning and coming up aggressively on stuff, and just how fast these are. So we added a little bit more lighting, and we've kind of got the same setup on both of them.
So to fill the need of needing some peripheral light, we put these here. So these are the same. These are SS3 Sports, all of these. The half of the lens is the driving beam and half is peripheral. So you can see out here to the right, there's way more light. They are aimed a little bit more to the right, but I mean, just look how much it puts over here compared to just straight driving beam. That really solved that problem for us, because we'd have a hard time seeing, especially kind of in this area on that side or this side, doesn't matter. Kind of knowing what we're going into. We had, if you don't know the area, it's pretty. I don't know. You got to be pretty careful.
Yeah, you're running blind. So, well, we got these mounts up. Obviously, we got a lot of this one's straight, so we're seeing a lot more up into your actual field of vision through the windshield, and the way you're seating one of these puppies. And then this bottom one, we kind of angled it out for a little bit more peripheral. So when you're turning, you can anticipate the turn a little bit by seeing through the turn with a little bit of extra lighting. So this is a Baja Designs makes these brackets, and then there's a few other brands that make them. Amazon and eBay, you can get them. The lights, again, are modular. I mean, you can take the lenses out, swap them to whatever you want, whatever driving pattern you want, as well as tint. You can get them yellow. Comes with all the bracketry, all the hardware, stainless steel. Everything's powder coated, anodized. And it comes with Bosch connectors, so they are watertight and pretty resilient. Because again, I flipped mine over on this exact side and slammed these into the ground and really did a 360 on 2 wheels. And this whole bracket spun around, twisted around, and these puppies fired right back up after we got a little hammer after the brackets. So very resilient and cast a great amount of light. So pretty easy to play with and take apart. I love them. They've been a great addition. What we're thinking now is because of the way the light's getting cast into here in the driver's area, the mirrors here we love them now, so we're going to keep them. And then some of the windshield wash you get, so we're thinking about either up top or down here on the pod area, where some of them run ditch lights, or even scooting them over and swapping another one into the bumper and running 3 of these puppies in there. So a few different options, but pretty easy to swap these things around and move them around.
Yeah. So as far as the DIODE Dynamics pods, these are the SS3s, 3-inch or whatever they call them. We're going to show you some other ones they have. This is an SSC2. You can see it's half of a SS3. This is a driving white light, but it's kind of got
so you see the more aggressive pattern here versus that pattern there. So these are glass and extremely thick, extremely resilient. If rocks hit them, bugs hit them.
Yeah.
When we throw this thing up on the rack and run down the highway, and plenty of stuff or just gets jammed into them. No water, no nothing. We've never had a single problem with any of them. No moisture, no breaks, anything.
And I misspoke. This is a combo light, so it's got a driving and a flood beam as part of it. So it's got 2 super bright LEDs. Super nice connectors.
Yeah, again,
they go in
3-wire Bosch connector. Bryce will show you the functionality behind that extra wire.
So, boop. So DIODE Dynamics, they have this, the SSC2, they have a SSC1, which is 1 LED. SS3s, which is what we have, and then SS5, which is bigger, has 9 LEDs in it. Every single one of them comes with backlighting. You can choose your backlighting colors on the SSC1, 2, and the SS3s. Ours don't have backlighting because we bought them before they offered backlighting. The SS5, it's got all sorts of colors. There might be Bluetooth functionality, we're not sure.
It's got an RGB function.
Yeah, so you can choose.
You can make the color whatever you want. And you got blue, red, white, amber on those, and I think you can still choose no backlighting. I think.
I think you can, at least probably until the stock runs out of the no backlight ones.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer. It's a super sweet look. So you guys that really, want to function in color, and match, and really, match your trim. Like I actually kind of want the red backlighting for some of the
Facing
accents on my 2022 XRS, but I actually really dig this amber. I've always liked kind of amber backlighting, and it's a very nice harness, and it's loomed. This is pretty heavy gauge wiring, heat shrink. This is all made in America, put together in America, so really cool. It comes with a relay for those that need the relay functionality. For some circuit protection and some load protection, amongst other things. You can simply swap this switch out into that rocker, that Carlink style switch. You don't have to use these little round bullet style ones. So pretty easy to just take that puppy off and swap it over. Fuse protected, obviously, so you have full circuit protection, and it's a pretty lengthy harness, and it's pretty beefy, but again, the power that these things put out is pretty exceptional. So that is just the wash of that beam there of the backlight. So
kind of see it out there. Not really meant to be, you know, anything to drive by, but it does light up the area a little bit.
Just looks sweet. So
then you flip the switch the other way, and boom, you get the white light. So you can really see the beam, the flood out here, but then the driving beam right there in the middle. You can see as you go out further, it really makes a difference. I mean, you can light the trees up. I mean, if you're hunting for some raccoons and you had one of these things, you'd be in good shape.
Yeah, it's exceptional. Like I said, putting it to scale, what this little guy can do and how you can actually truly see the beam pattern, and then scale it again to the 3s, to the 5s. So you're getting a really cool functionality behind it. It's not just a gimmick, or it's not just a lens. There's a complete functionality behind everything Diode Dynamics does, and those driving patterns that you can put on there, from the fog, the spot, the flood, the combo driving optic, pretty sweet as far as the options to fit every style of driving. You know, again, the sand dune guys, the guys that run sand cars, ball haul, trophy trucking dudes, just to your little off-roader, your overlander guy in your Jeep or your 4Runners. They make a ton of kits, ton of bracketry, ton of different light options from Diode Dynamics. They have actually complete conversion kits to convert your vehicle from the headlights to the dome lights, all the way to the tail lights, backup lights, third brake lights, completely to LED, Diode Dynamics branded LED, and it's exceptional, the light that they put off. And they make a ton of brackets to swap over your fog systems, to swap over your traditional lighting systems. So a lot of cool custom bracketry behind these suckers. So really love these things.
The SSC1s, SSC2s, which is what this is, and SS3s, they also have an option for a flush mount. So instead of having, I don't know if it's hard to see or not, instead of having this bezel where it's meant to be mounted, it has a flush mount, so it'll come out further and have screws. You've probably seen it. So you can put it in a bumper. You know, if you put it in a rear bumper, you can get a red light as a backlighting, and, you know, have a nice reverse light whenever you need it. So they've got really nice options. They're tough, they're light, durable. I've never had an issue with them. Steven flipped an X3 over on top of them. No, they still work. So they come in really nice packaging. This is, again, this is Diode Dynamics harness. So they're really nice. Stay tuned for these. So we have 3 sets of these, and we're going to be giving them away. So stay tuned. We'll roll that out here in the next couple weeks. Thanks for watching, liking, subscribing. Sorry it's been a little bit lacking here the last month or two. Both of us have been super busy at work. We don't work together, but we're fortunate that our companies that we work for are busy, and we play a large part in their busyness.
Yeah, so we're grateful for that, and we're grateful for everyone sticking by us and, you know, giving us feedback, likes, subscribes, purchasing through the website, discoverpowersports.com, discoveroffroad.com. Again, we're from both worlds, just 2 normal guys, just having fun, testing products in real time with our own money.
Yeah,
so
we're learning as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. So anything you want to see with these, the units, content, hey, holler at us, drop a comment, we'll do it. Shoot, if something you want to see, just have a question for us, we'll send you the feedback directly to you. We don't mind doing that stuff. No. Again, we're just 2 normal guys. This is a passion of ours, and it's growing, and we appreciate it, and you guys drive that. But check us out. Like I said, there's a ton of different Diode Dynamics setups, from their bar lights to their bracketry to their conversion kits. It's not just these pods for these side-by-sides, these ATVs. So again, like, subscribe. Appreciate everyone staying tuned. Hopefully we get my 2022 back. Hopefully have an update on the next video for y'all, or a little bit of something regarding its whereabouts. Hopefully we get her back, but stay tuned for that. Appreciate y'all.
Some more lighting, HIDs. Those options. They actually just put these on the other day from the newer starter truck with a nice LED.
He's loving his new exhaust as well. Yeah, sounds pretty good for an old girl. So yeah, I got the tow pig, a few things added to it. You know, I love this thing. Thought about getting rid of it, getting into something new, but I'm gonna keep it. I'll get something new eventually, but it's been a great truck. It's a 4-inch straight pop. It's got a muffler, a little muffler down here. You can see a Jones turbine muffler. So perfect amount of throaty and V8 sound, but it not sound obnoxious or anything like that. So did the downpipe, 3-inch all the way down, and it was a son of a gun. I don't recommend it. I strongly advise you never do this to yourself. It was a son of a gun.
Pay somebody.
Yeah, pay somebody. Dear God, I will help you. Start a GoFundMe, and I will help you. But other than that, yeah, it's been great. So I've had the LBZ for going on 5 years now. And I got my license in 2006. This was the exact truck I wanted. This is my dream truck. And I was able to finally find one and get one 5 years ago. Oh yeah, lane sweep things going on. So it's been a great truck. Like I said, we want to introduce more of the fleet, do more things like that. And one of the cool things on the DIODE Dynamics is Performance Automotive Lighting makes a bracket kit to put SS3 pods into this fog light build here. And actual DIODE Dynamics has 2 options here for where you can run 2 SS3s. So pretty sweet. So it turned out good.
There's the crappy stock Can-Am lighting, and you can barely tell anything. But here's just the pros and the bumper.